I chose the topic of how did the church lose its power. I once stood in what used to be a magnificent abbey, but was reduced to ruins. Um, and all you could see were trees and sky. No walls, no ceilings, nothing. I thought this was due to the king wanting to divorce his wife and the Catholic Church saying no. But as I studied this more, I learned more about the English Reformation and the Catholic Church's loss of power. In 1530s, King Henry VIII wanted to divorce his wife Catherine of Aragon because she did not have a male heir. King Henry VIII was upset, and he passed the Act of Succession and the Act of Supremacy, and appointed himself the head of the Church of England. The people were also upset with the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church was well off financially, but they were left poor because the Catholic Church charged for marriages, baptisms, and burials on holy ground. The Catholic Church believed that if you were not buried on holy ground, then you weren't going to heaven. And the king used the people's anger to his advantage later on. In 1536, there were over 800 nunneries, friaries, and monasteries, and by 1541, there were zero. Housed in those buildings were over 10,000 monks, nuns, and friars. The monks, nuns, and friars were dispersed to other places, and some were executed for various crimes. The king had most of the buildings seized and sold or rented to new people. Some of the buildings were destroyed, like the Glastonbury Abbey. I stood in front of the abbot's kitchen, which was the only building left standing intact on the massive grounds at Glastonbury. I believe it was due to that was the only way left for the men to be fed while they were destroying the abbey. Above the town, there's a tor, which is a big hill that you could see for miles around. The tor was the execution spot for two monks and Abbot Whiting, who lived on the grounds at Glastonbury Abbey. The abbot was hanged, drawn, and quartered on the king's command due to the abbot's charge of treason for still supporting Rome. And unfortunately, he was put on display in 4 other places at once to, I guess, as a sign to follow the king's rules. And that's a little bit on how the Catholic Church lost its power.